All right, I promised a ramble and a rant, so here it is. Welcome back to the Scrapyard. Rodstronic here. I want to preface everything I'm about to say with I think the Witcher Monster Slayer mobile game is phenomenal. I really like it. I play it a lot. Obviously, I've made a lot of content around it. I wouldn't have done all that if I didn't think the game was fun and making content around it was fun. That being prefaced, and the people behind it are people, remember. Like, this is not a rant at just a faceless corporation. This is a small team, or originally a small team that came to CD Projekt Red and said, "Hey, we've got this cool idea. Would would you like to get on board? Can we use the Witcher stuff?" You can actually follow that story if you like video game documentaries. If you go on No Clip, I'll put the link down below, and there's actually a short documentary on how the game got built, so you can go watch that. Okay, the reason I want to make this video is I read this Reddit thread, this Reddit post that got downvoted actually, and I saw the title, and while I do not agree with all of what's been said here, there's a couple of sentiments that really kind of spoke to me. He says, "I want to love this game." This is by Theos, and thank you for posting this, Theos, because I think a lot of people kind of feel this way. Maybe not to the extreme level that maybe you're at, but definitely there's that element. "I want to love this game, but it keeps getting worse." I don't agree with it getting worse. I agree that I want to love this game more, I suppose is my sentiment. "Can't collect completed tasks, need to restart the app and do the last monster again, and maybe I can collect, or maybe I need to restart again. I would say at a minimum, if it says collect 3 flying monsters, I would only need to collect 3 flying monsters. This issue keeps getting more common. I can't complete weekly tasks because I can't find the monsters. So I'm just going to stop there. So I'm a lucky one. I haven't experienced any like game breaking bugs or loss of information. I think once or twice I've had to like close the app down, like shut it down, and restart it and have it reboot. And maybe a combat that I had just finished didn't register once or twice, maybe in the last 6 or 7 months. I can't say that I've been a real victim of poor performance. That might be to do with the fact that I have a OnePlus 8, and maybe that phone gels well with the game. But I do know there are people out there who have serious issues with the game, and from what I understand, and we'll get to the crux of it, it's the lack of communication of the game itself, of the people behind the game, that is the most frustrating part of all this. They go on to say, after level 35, experience points have no meaning. I can kind of see what they're saying there. Like, after a certain point, you can kill most monsters without potions, without any serious, like, some monsters are hard or extreme. You still, you have to be very good to complete them without the potions and the oils and the armors and stuff, but it's still possible. So I kind of see their point there. Meaningless or no meaning is maybe, it's up to you whether you want to like build towards a certain style. Again, I don't agree with everything that's being said here, but the sentiment. I see the same 12 monsters over and over. I can see that, like, if you live in a certain biome, you will see the same monsters over and over, and you won't see other monsters. Get that frustration. I think that's just the nature of how this game is going to work and always going to work, except for, the weekly events, which are good because you get monsters that traditionally mightn't spawn in your biome, potentially, or at least up spawn rates. There have been no new quests since day one, so there has been a season of quests, and a lot of people mainline those and finish them in a few weeks, which I understand. It's frustrating to have to sit around. The most common question is like, when's season 2 coming? And I think the short answer is there just has been no word. And I also want to caveat that with the fact that, think of the amount of work and energy it takes to write those quests, voice act them, have them work in the game seamlessly. Like, some of them are still, like, some of the quests are still broken or may have been patched recently, but I actually haven't, hand on heart, haven't completed all the quests just because I'm lazy and I don't go outside that often, not because I don't want to. So the complaint that there's no new quests, kind of in the middle there, whether that's a good or bad thing. For me, I'm happy that season 2 isn't anywhere around the corner because that gives me plenty of time to finish season 1. But this is the main reason I'm here. I want to love this game, but it seems the devs don't want to love me back. And that, I think, is the main issue here. I work in a customer support role, and one of the things that we learn, and I'd say a lot of you guys learn, is sometimes it's okay to not have the answer, but at least have something. Give something. And that might be an update to say, hey, we have no new update today. We'll come back to you in a few weeks. It's silence that kills people. It's silence that drives people away. It's silence that makes people frustrated. Not knowing the answer is far worse than getting the answer that you don't want, if that makes sense. It's okay to say, hey guys, we hear your thoughts, we hear your concerns. Here's what we're working on. Here's what we're not working on. Here's what we're never working on. And then people can make, people can go, oh, well, I don't like that decision, but at least you've told me that decision. I think the main concern that people have right now is just the lack of communication. Right now, it's very much community. Sorry, scratch my eye. Very much community driven. Very much. Oh, I just got a WhatsApp. I didn't realize WhatsApp was on. My apologies, everybody. 1 second. So what was I saying there? Yeah. So it's the lack of communication. And if I can offer a piece of advice to Spokko, is stop relying on the community to do your, like there's some really dedicated mods in Discord and people on Facebook and stuff who are just doing your work for you in like helping people understand the game better, helping people understand how combat works and armors work and swords work and all that sort of stuff is being done by people who are not paid to do it, just people who love the game and like playing. So I would be reaching out to those people. Like, if you need more community managers, I actually, again, hand on heart, reached out to them privately and said, "Are they looking for community managers?" I was looking for work at the time. I was like, "Give me a job as a community manager for this job," like, and I would happily like embrace that. Um, pay me, I'll do it. That frequently I pick up like English language spelling stuff or grammar stuff, and like somebody you need like just to have a once over on these things. And I think there are people screaming out for the opportunity to help with this game, and it's just been met with a wall of silence, which ultimately leads, as I said earlier, to frustration. So the main thrust of my rant here today is that I want this game to keep going forever. I have a vested interest. My channel is like primarily built on this game, so of course I want to see it grow and grow my audience and make more content and interact with the community. And I can't see that happening without some form of communication from the dev team. I hope somebody from the dev team or the PR team, and again, full disclosure, I've spoken to these people on calls. Like in the early days of this, I reached out and said, hey, do you want to do some collaboration stuff? And we spoke and we interacted. Zero communication in the last 3-4 months from these people. And I mean, like, to those people, if they are watching, I mean, like, I'm not offended. I'm not upset or I'm not angry. I just feel like, say, look, hey, we're not working on it right now. We'll come back to it when we're ready. And I'd be like, cool, no worries. I'll move on with my life. And I think that's a one piece of advice that I think is seriously lacking in the sort of community facing side of the Spokko team, because they built such a cool game. I mean, like, the technical people behind this game can be so proud of what they've accomplished. It's so fucking fun and good and different in a universe that people love. And that's what's so frustrating, that we just don't know anymore. Not a public statement. It's the weekly events. I mean, they have done things like, I mean, let's be honest. Let's credit where credit's due. They've done some really forward thinking and new stuff to keep us interested. The weekly events, they're not world beating, groundbreaking stuff, but there's something new, something different that we all liked. And I know they're constantly tweaking. That's another thing. When you post your patch notes, don't just post game improved. Tell us what you've improved. Tell us what's different than before, not have us to go and do the homework. Because people go and do the homework anyway. They go down and they look through different differences between what happened before and what back. And we shouldn't have to work this hard to figure out how your game is improved. We want to know. We're keen. We're interested. Like, embrace this community, because if you don't, people will just move away and find the next cool thing. And that'll be really sad, because you'll have a game that's. Now, I don't know what the statistics behind all this. Maybe their player count just continues to rise, and they don't care about these. Like, there's 10,000 people in the Reddit. Maybe not that they don't care, but maybe the 10,000 people in the Reddit are like 2% of the overall player base, and they're like, okay, those 2% of moaners and complainers, whatever, it doesn't matter about them. The other 99% are what we should be focusing on. Like, I don't know the numbers behind all this. Like, there is that element. Like, from a commercial standpoint, it's like, okay, well, these people are actually not our biggest spenders, so therefore, like, we have to dedicate our resources on the people who are actually spending money on the game and keeping the game afloat. And while that might sound a bit like callous, let's be honest, these people have to pay bills. Let's not forget, these people have to keep the lights on. So, like, money, cash is king. Let's be honest. So Let me know in the comments below where you sit in this spectrum. I do get tired of people moaning and pissing and moaning about the game and how it's shite and how it's like on the downturn and all this stuff. When I don't believe any of that to be true, I believe the game is like holding steady. I like to think that the interactions in Discord and Reddit and on my videos and stuff let me believe that this game is continuing on a steady course. I guess my main thing is if you're watching Spokko, if you're watching Monster Slayer Team, give us a bit of fucking feedback on what's happening within the game and where you think it's going to go and where you think like if this game is going to die 6 months from now. Well, you probably won't tell us that because you'll want us to keep playing right up until that point. But give us an idea of what you're doing behind the scenes. We'd love to know that. Like all I do is like not all I do, but I occasionally go on LinkedIn and look at your hiring patterns and look at the people you're hiring and the teams and the job descriptions to see like what might be coming down the road. And it looks promising, but maybe they're just replacing people who've left. Or maybe that's just like a filling up an empty spot, not a new person to the team. I don't know. All I can do is speculate. Anyway, I've ranted on for like 11 minutes there. That's plenty. Let me know in the comments down below how you feel. Are you on the same fence as me? Do you have like even more bigger grievances about this game? I mean, I'm not interested in like, dead game or failed game. I'm interested in like logical, reasoned arguments and respecting the company as a bunch of people who are doing their best. um there's a way to complain. Like that's what annoys me the most. Like there is a way to complain about the service you're getting. Sometimes like being respectful gets you what you actually want versus being an asshole. So I'd like some people in the Discord and the Reddits to take that to heart, that shouting at games companies for demanding what you want or you're leaving is not how you get things done. If you were my customer, I'd say good luck to you, see you later. But okay, that's enough. I've ranted. I'll talk to you in the next video, guys. Have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you next week.